As we journey through life, we often reach a point where the dynamics between parents and children begin to evolve. You dedicate years to nurturing them, supporting them, and making sacrifices for their well-being. Then one day, you notice that something has shifted. It's possible that they may not take your advice to heart. It's possible that your opinions are not being fully appreciated. It's tough when someone talks down to you or makes you feel like a burden. Those feelings can be really painful. It can be disheartening when your children seem to show you less respect than you know you deserve. It's completely normal to feel frustrated or even angry in such situations. It could be helpful to gently remind them of all the efforts you've made over the years, highlighting how you've consistently prioritized their needs. It's important to remember that getting angry won't solve the problem. In reality, it can sometimes lead to more challenges. There's a more effective approach to earn their respect back, one that avoids conflict, arguments, and any lingering resentment. Today, I'm excited to share 6 practical steps you can take when your children aren't showing you the respect you deserve. These are impactful adjustments, straightforward changes in your responses, that can truly change how they perceive you. Some of these insights may come as a surprise, but if you stick with us until the end, you'll learn how to reclaim your position as a respected and valued presence in their lives. Let's dive in and begin our journey together. First step, let go of seeking their approval. One common challenge parents face, particularly as their children grow older, is the tendency to put too much effort into pleasing them. It's possible that you've observed yourself engaging in this behavior. You make a special effort to ensure their needs are met. It's important to recognize when you're feeling pressured to agree, even when you'd prefer to decline. By prioritizing their needs over your own, you may find yourself hoping that your efforts will lead to greater appreciation from them. However, it's important to acknowledge the reality of the situation. Seeking their approval too much can actually diminish the respect they have for you. Do you understand what I'm saying? Respect is not something that comes from putting yourself last. It comes from having a strong sense of self-respect. When you consistently prioritize others' needs over your own, you may unintentionally convey that your feelings are less important. It's essential to find a balance that honors both your emotions and those of others. When they begin to believe that, it can become quite simple for them to overlook your value. There was once a remarkable woman named Margaret, who embodied strength and independence in her younger years. As she grew older, she began to empower her children by allowing them to make their own decisions. She thoughtfully adjusted her schedule to accommodate their needs, chose to hold back her opinions, and even overlooked the condescending way they communicated with her. She once shared with me her desire to keep the family united. Can you share what occurred? Her children no longer appreciated her efforts. They perceived her as a person who would consistently adapt, readily concur, and often remain quiet. She believed she was maintaining harmony. However, what she was truly experiencing was a gradual loss of her voice. When it comes to earning your children's respect, the initial approach should focus on understanding rather than demanding it. It's important to let go of the idea that you need it. Establish clear boundaries. It's important to prioritize your needs and feel empowered to say no when necessary. Share your thoughts openly, even if they may not resonate with everyone. When you begin to value yourself, others will begin to see you in a new light. With patience, you'll find that respect will return to you in due course. For the second action, focus on leading by example rather than engaging in arguments. When your children overlook your opinions, speak over you, or show disrespect, it's natural to feel the urge to argue, to remind them of all your efforts, or to insist that they pay attention. It's important to remember that arguing rarely leads to positive outcomes, and avoiding it can save you a lot of time and frustration in the long run. Take a moment to reflect on this. Have you ever thought about the last time you stood up for yourself in a way that earned you respect? It's an important reflection to consider. Respect is not something that can be claimed through mere words. It is something that is cultivated through your presence, the way you conduct yourself, and how you react when others challenge your patience. When you respond to disrespect with anger, you inadvertently reinforce their belief that they hold power over you. It's important to approach such situations with a calm and composed mindset. There was a man named Frank, a retired teacher who dedicated his life to guiding students with assurance and passion. However, at home, his adult children began to treat him as if he were an afterthought. They overlooked his advice, brushed aside his concerns, and at times even chuckled when he attempted to offer corrections. Initially, he defended himself, seeking to demonstrate that he was still worthy of their respect. However, the more he struggled, the more challenging the situation became. One day, Frank decided to make a change. He chose to stop arguing and began to listen, truly listen. He ceased seeking respect through words and began to embody the demeanor of someone who already possessed it. He spoke with a calm demeanor, sharing his wisdom without any desire to compete. Gradually, his children began to take notice. They observed a man who exuded confidence without seeking their validation, who felt no need to demonstrate his worth, and who stood as a remarkable presence in his own right. If your children are struggling to show respect, consider approaching the situation with understanding rather than confrontation.
Demonstrate respekt, trug se wie you care for yourself.
Always hold on to your dignity.
Kommunikate vis assurance.
Always remember to maintain your dignity and integrity, no matter the situation. When you stand firm with kindness, others will notice, and eventually, they will be inspired to follow your example. If you're enjoying this video and finding the insights helpful, I would love for you to comment number 2 below to let me know you're with me. If you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you to do so and turn on the notification bell to stay updated with all the latest videos. Your support enables us to keep producing valuable content that informs and inspires you. Thank you for being a part of our journey. Let's take the next step together. Step 3. Focus on reducing your emotional reliance. As you navigate through life, one important realization is that seeking emotional fulfillment from your children may not be the best path. It's a valuable lesson that can lead to greater personal growth and understanding. Your feelings for them may be profound, and it's natural to desire their love and respect in return. However, when they realize that you want them to feel appreciated, the dynamics of the relationship change. It's important to acknowledge the truth, even when it comes to our own children. It's important to appreciate and honor those who have developed emotional independence. Relying on others for validation, affection, or attention can create unnecessary pressure on them. It's important to find a balance that allows for healthy relationships. Rather than experiencing gratitude, they may begin to feel overwhelmed. It's possible they may distance themselves. They may begin to show signs of impatience or irritation towards you. The more you seek their love, the more it seems to slip away from you. There was a remarkable woman I once knew named Helen. She was a loving mother who dedicated herself entirely to her children. As they matured and became engrossed in their own lives, she often found herself by the phone, wishing for a call from them. When they didn't reach out, she took the initiative to call them instead, frequently, perhaps even a bit too frequently. She expressed how much she missed them and shared her hope that they would come to visit more often. However, rather than drawing them closer together, it ended up creating distance between them. They began to view her calls as a duty rather than a source of joy. One day, Helen decided to take a different approach. She decided to take action instead of waiting. She decided to stop reaching out first. She began to prioritize her own well-being, exploring new hobbies, enjoying outings with friends, and nurturing her own happiness. And then something unexpected occurred. Her children began reaching out more often. They began to appreciate her time, recognizing her as someone who leads a fulfilling life of her own. The lesson is straightforward. When you cultivate a sense of independence, your children will begin to appreciate and value your presence even more. When you demonstrate your ability to stand strong independently, others will begin to respect you, not out of obligation, but because they truly admire the life you've created for yourself. Step 4. Establish clear boundaries and make sure to uphold them. One of the key factors that can lead to children losing respect for their parents is when parents allow it to happen. It's important to set boundaries with your children regarding how they communicate with you. If you let them speak to you disrespectfully or disregard your feelings and opinions, they may continue this behavior. Establishing clear expectations can foster a more respectful and understanding relationship. It's not that they are bad individuals. Rather, it's important to recognize that people, particularly those close to you, will often respond to you in the manner you permit. Understanding this can empower you to set healthier boundaries. Establishing boundaries is not about distancing yourself from your children or fostering disagreements. It involves making a thoughtful and confident choice about the behaviors you are willing to accept and those you are not. It's essential to uphold those boundaries when they are crossed, as this is a crucial part of maintaining your well-being. There was a man named Robert, a retired businessman who dedicated his life to running a company with great discipline and confidence. However, he faced challenges when it came to his adult children. They cut him off while he was speaking, overlooked his concerns, and even offered criticism about his lifestyle choices. Initially, he accepted it. He reassured himself that it wasn't worth the struggle. As time went on, he came to understand that by remaining silent, he was inadvertently conveying that their behavior was acceptable. One day, Robert decided to try a different approach. When his son interrupted him, he gently responded, "I'll continue speaking when you're ready to listen." When his daughter dismissed his opinion, he kindly responded, "You don't have to agree with me, but I do expect you to show me respect." When they kept pushing his boundaries, he firmly communicated that if they couldn't show him basic respect, he would choose not to spend time with them. Do you want to hear what happened next? They began to pay attention. Initially, there was some resistance. However, as time went on, they came to understand that their father was steadfast in his position. They recognized that he held himself in high regard and was willing to ask for the respect he deserved. As a result, they began to provide it to him. When it comes to respect from your children, it's important to reflect on your own actions. Are you setting the right boundaries and expectations? Taking a moment to consider this can lead to positive changes in your relationship. It's important to establish your own boundaries, as others may not do it for you. It's important to advocate for yourself because, ultimately, you are your own best champion. If you're still with us and finding these insights helpful, I would love for you to comment number 4 below to show your support. If you haven't subscribed yet, now is a great time to do so. Be sure to turn on the bell so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos. Your support enables us to keep producing valuable content that informs and inspires you. Let's take the next step together. Step 5. Remember to value yourself and your contributions. One of the fastest ways to diminish respect is to continue giving to those who do not value it. As parents, we find ourselves doing this more frequently than we might think. We dedicate our time, energy, and support, even when it goes unrecognized, even when it feels overlooked, and even when we encounter a sense of entitlement. Let's take a moment to acknowledge the reality. When you offer your kindness to someone who doesn't recognize it, it doesn't foster a sense of love. Respect is not something you can simply construct. You create anticipation. They begin to overlook the value of your kindness and start to view it as something they deserve. When you take a step back, it often goes unnoticed by them. They are experiencing some inconvenience. There was a man named George, a father who consistently showed generosity towards his children. He was always there for them, providing financial support whenever they required it. He would drop everything to lend a hand and even adjusted his own life to meet their needs. Instead of receiving gratitude, he encountered complaints. It seems they overlooked expressing their gratitude. They had hoped for something greater. It's truly disheartening that when he finally reached out for their support, they were preoccupied with other matters. One day, George decided to make a change. He learned to set healthy boundaries for himself. He began to hold back his offers of assistance even before anyone had the chance to ask for it. Most importantly, he began to recognize the value of saying no when it was necessary for him. Initially, his children felt a bit frustrated. They were puzzled about why he no longer seemed willing to go out of his way for them. However, as time went on, a change occurred. They began to appreciate his time more. They began to recognize his efforts as they came to understand that his generosity had its limits. It was a wonderful gift, but not something to take for granted. When it seems like your children may not fully appreciate your time, effort, or kindness, it can be helpful to take a moment to reflect. Take a moment to reflect. Are you perhaps giving more of yourself than is necessary? Have you ever considered what might occur if you decided to take a break? It's an interesting thought to explore. When you show others that your generosity depends on mutual respect, they will begin to understand and appreciate it in that light. Step 6. Create a fulfilling life beyond your relationship with them. One effective way to earn your children's respect is to demonstrate that your happiness is not solely dependent on them. As parents, it's completely normal to dedicate ourselves to our children and to make them the focal point of our lives. As we age, that dynamic begins to change. If you've dedicated so much of your life to prioritizing them, they might begin to view you as someone without other pursuits or interests. Individuals are admired when they pursue their own purpose, engage in their interests, and find their own sense of fulfillment. It's important to remember that if your children perceive you as depending on them for entertainment, validation, or meaning, they may begin to feel overwhelmed or even distressed. They may begin to perceive you as someone who lacks personal pursuits. I once met a wonderful woman named Eleanor, who was a widow in her late 70s. Following the loss of her husband, she dedicated herself wholeheartedly to her children's lives, staying in touch regularly, offering guidance even when it wasn't requested, and hoping they would help fill the void left by her husband. However, rather than bringing them closer together, it ended up creating distance between them. Eleanor noticed that visits were less frequent, and the calls she received were shorter. This left her feeling more isolated than she had ever felt before. She decided to take a step forward. She became a member of a book club. She began her journey by exploring new places with friends. She dedicated her time to helping out at a local community center. She began to shift her focus away from making her children the center of her world, and something wonderful unfolded as a result. Her children began to connect with her more often. They were eager to learn about what she was doing. Her independence was truly inspiring to them. She earned their respect. If your children aren't showing you the respect you deserve, take a moment to reflect. Do they perceive you as someone who leads a fulfilling and purposeful life? Or do they perceive you as someone who is patiently seeking their attention? When you demonstrate that you are truly living and not just going through the motions, others will begin to perceive you in a whole new way. If you're enjoying this video and finding the insights helpful, I would love for you to comment number 6 below to let me know you're with me. If you haven't subscribed yet, now is a great time to do so. Be sure to turn on the bell so you can stay updated and not miss any of our videos. Your support enables us to keep producing valuable content that informs and inspires you. In conclusion, let's reflect on the key points we've discussed. Respect is something that needs to be nurtured and earned, especially when it comes to your children. Your inspiration shines through in how you present yourself, the boundaries you establish, and the way you choose to live your life. If you notice that someone is treating you with less care, consideration, or respect, it's important to focus your energy on more positive responses rather than getting angry. Consider changing your approach. Focus on valuing your own worth, as the less you seek their approval, the more likely it is that you'll receive it naturally. Set a positive example, as your actions convey your values more powerfully than your words ever could. Fostering your independence can lead to greater respect from others. By focusing on becoming more self-sufficient, you create a stronger sense of self that others will appreciate. Establishing boundaries is essential, as it helps ensure that others treat you with the respect you deserve. It's important to recognize the value of generosity. When we give without receiving appreciation, it can diminish the meaning behind our actions. Let's remember to acknowledge and cherish the kindness we share with one another. It's essential to create a life that is uniquely yours, as individuals are often drawn to those who have their own passions, happiness, and sense of achievement. By taking these steps, you can expect something amazing to unfold. Your children will begin to view you in a new way, recognizing you not just as someone seeking their attention, but as a person who naturally earns their respect through your authentic presence. With patience, you'll find that respect will naturally return to you, not through demands, but as a result of your hard work and integrity. We truly appreciate you being here with us today. We are eager to hear from you. We'd love to hear from you. Please share one thing you learned today and how you intend to incorporate it into your life. Your insights can inspire others. We truly value your thoughts, so please feel free to share them with us. Your comments truly inspire and uplift us, providing the motivation we need to keep going. If you found this video enjoyable and helpful, we would greatly appreciate it if you could like, subscribe, and share it with others. Your support enables us to keep producing valuable content that informs and inspires you. Thank you for being a part of our journey. We truly appreciate you taking the time to watch, and we can't wait to connect with you in our next video.